Hi, this is Jay Pryor with Jay Pryor Consulting again. Thanks for joining me. You know, after my last video, I realized I might need to back up a little bit. I've gotten some comments that clearly there's a little bit more education to do, and I may have put the cart before the horse. So I want to back up a little bit. Again, I am a transgender or gender nonconforming person. I identify as gender nonconforming, which is relatively new for me in the sense that that word did not exist when I first came out. So I transitioned in 2001. In fact, April 1st was my 17th year on testosterone. And so I want to today make the distinction and educate you a little bit about the difference between someone's gender identity versus their gender expression, right? Which is also separate from their sexual orientation. And so I'm just going to break it down for you. So I was born female, right? And I still identify as female, but my gender expression is masculine. And so I love the beard, right? And I love my body like this. But taking testosterone, in my mind, right, taking testosterone and making me look like this did not take away the fact that I was, or am, a woman and have identified with women my whole life. And so you want to know that first most important thing, especially around this topic, there is not one gender nonconforming or transgender person that has the same story. All of us feel differently. So I have friends who would say that they were men, they were boys, they were born boys in the wrong body, right? And so for them, their whole lives, they were kicking and screaming saying I should have been a boy. Now, while I was attracted to boy things and was a tomboy and did all those things, I just put on the dress because I didn't have a choice, right? If I had had a choice to wear the tux, I probably would have, but I didn't have the choice, and it wasn't that big a deal to me. And I have been gender fluid, I've worn dresses, I've done all kinds of things, and still in this body, I actually prefer skirts over pants if I could, right? And I can sometimes. I'm not always that brave, right? So I mostly wear pants. But my point is that the fact that I want to dress like this doesn't mean that I can't be a woman, right? There's very butch and very masculine women. So gender expression is masculine, gender identity is female. So someone may be born, right, born female, identify as female and have a masculine expression. Someone may be born male and identify as male and still want to express themselves in a feminine manner. So if you see a young person who might be male, who, like, you can tell they're born male, right? Or you can't tell, by the way, just so you know. But let's say someone is born male, and then they prefer a feminine expression, like they want to dress in women's clothes or feminine clothing, wear makeup, and wear their nails long, but that doesn't mean that they identify as a woman, right? I want to get very clear about that. And this is why it's so important that you're taking this on, and I appreciate you watching these videos and taking yourselves on around waking up around gender conscious. I call it gender consciousness, right? Having some gender consciousness around they, them pronouns and transgender people and gender nonconforming people, because it's very confusing and it's a moving target, right? So I say that because I know that I am not as conscious as I would like to be or will be as a white person, for example, or as someone who have been walking through the world as in this skin. I've also got some male gendering stuff, so I'm not quite as awake as I'd like to be as a feminist. So I surround myself with people who are going to wake me up, right? They're not gonna pull any punches. They're not gonna let me be fragile with them. They're gonna actually shoot straight with me and tell me how it is. And I can do that for you around being around transgender and gender nonconforming people, and it's part of my role. When I work with executives, I work with executives one-on-one around implicit bias and waking themselves up because they have an interest in being conscious, right? And they know that this stuff just doesn't come naturally to them. This is not the water you've been swimming in, right? The water you've been swimming in is it has to be a girl or a boy, right? And we need to know what box it fits into or we get all freaked out, right? And so that's not the world that's happening right now, right? The future, right? The future is a world where gender is way more fluid, and we're seeing that everywhere. That's the trend. And so getting on board with that and understanding that when you're in your binary, rigid, it has to be a boy or girl world, you're not going to be keeping up, right? It's not going to work. It's just unworkable, right? And in the workplace, you need to know that there are people who may be, right, maybe someone who has a different expression than you know, and they may not even be able to feel like they can do that in your workplace, right? So what we want to do is create a safe environment where people have the ability to express themselves and to train the rest of the people around them beyond toleration, right? We just don't tolerate that. We actually get it. We actually understand it. And that's why, the work that my work as an executive coach for the last 15 years comes into play here, because you have to transform this, right? You have to transform the mind around it. And it's not like a one and done, right? It's a practice. It's something you got to flex your muscle around. And so, I really want to encourage you again to Google, right? Google these things. There's something called the Gender Unicorn that you can find, and it will spell this all out for you, like gender expression, gender identity, sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is who you want to make love to and who you want to have relationships with. And, and I assert that there's a difference between sexual orientation and relationship orientation. Some of you may be sexually attracted to somebody. That doesn't mean you want to have a relationship with them. And so those nuances are, again, sometimes hard to get your head around, and I really want to encourage you to Google it, right, and to learn all you can, because this is coming in the future, and I will do everything I can to serve you and educate you around it as best I can. These videos are going to come out at least once a week. I've gotten that clear at least now. At least once a week, and we'll just keep talking. And if you need anything, if there's any way I can serve you, please feel free to get in touch. Have a great day.